Dr. Hillary and the president of the GEA, Dr. Mick Loftus, applauding there and appreciating the sounds from the Artane Boys Band today, as they're now being introduced to the band members. As I said, band members present, band members of the past and band members of the future as well. Joe Lynch, the conductor of the band, now being introduced. Joe Filter on. It's a fantastic scene, as you can see here in Croke Park. It's a marvellous day to be in Croke Park today in this special occasion, but we hope that our television pictures capture for you something of the atmosphere that there is here today. Not just another All-Ireland final. There never is such a thing as another All-Ireland final, but a day that's a special day for the Artane Boys Band. So it's given so much pleasure and entertainment down through the years. A band that, of course, has been around the world and has entertained at many functions and many gatherings. But to most people, of course, it's with the GEA and it's with Croke Park on All-Ireland semi-final and All-Ireland Day that we know them most. There you can see a section of the band from the past, and a band that's now more associated with the Garda. There are Garda members in there from the Garda band, also from the army. They have gone to all walks of life from the Artane Boys Band. And I'm sure they remember, many of these older members now will have happy memories themselves of being here in Croke Park in past occasions on days like this. And I'm sure for them it's a pleasure to be back here again today. Indeed, for us, it's a pleasure to see them back here today. These members of the present band, who indeed in their own turn will come out and be musicians of the future and in other walks of life. So then, fantastic indeed. The Artane Boys Band entertaining us here at the end of the minor match, and now we look forward, of course, to the senior game between Cork and Galway, as I almost dropped my programme on the ground. The throw-in of the senior game is at 3:15. Where does that leave us? A little over 15 minutes to go then to the big match. And Joe McDonough, who joins me here, Con Roach from Cork joins me, Joe McDonough from Galway joins me. Joe, if I can turn to you first. 15 minutes to go to the throw-in in the match. Give me something of an idea, Joe, of what's going through the minds of the players, because you sat in that dressing room down there, maybe not at the Hogan stand as it was then, but you know just exactly what the tension and the atmosphere was like back in the 70s and the 80s when you were here.
I'd say this is probably, Michael, the most difficult period before the match itself, because earlier on, you know, they've had a break and relaxed a bit, but now they're coming into they've come into the stadium and they've felt the atmosphere and the buzz that's around and the excitement, and set about togging out and getting themselves prepared mentally and indeed physically as such, and togging out of that for the game. But it's a difficult period because it's a time when players prefer to get out there on the field, get in with the parade and get started with the game as such. So it's probably the most difficult period they face today.
Well, Joe, they don't have long to go indeed to come out onto the pitch, because there is less than a minute to go now before the players make their appearance out here onto the pitch at Croke Park. I think Gerard Canning may be standing by down at the tunnel at the entrance to the dressing room, from which the players will emerge very shortly down there. While we're waiting to join Ger, as I said, we're also joined here in the commentary box by Con Roach from Cork. And Con, this is a scene that is only all too familiar to yourself as well, having played here in the final in 70 and in 72.
Yes, Michael, certainly it is a great occasion. As Joe has said there, I'm sure the players inside the dressing room at the moment are fairly keyed up. Now is I think the time that you know, the nerves are really there now, and once they get out there, you know, it's all over then. It's only starting then, you know, the game. Once they get, you know, the first touch of the ball,
it goes away then. Yeah, I mean, you're settling down, at least presumably you're settling down to it then.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Well, now, as I said, Ger Canning is down at the entrance to the dressing room and to the exit from which they will come out onto the field. And let's go down to the entrance of the dressing room as the teams are about to emerge out onto the pitch.
And so the first of the day's finalists, Galway, come out onto Croke Park. First of all, some of the subs. There's Johnny Clifford. And a magnificent splash of colour, as you'll see. What a fantastic sight it is. The climax to the hurling year. Very much a national occasion. I think that was a false alert, we can say, because the two teams have yet to come out. A magnificent sight as always. Croke Park on All-Ireland final day. And it's a very good afternoon to viewers of Channel 4 in Britain. Good afternoon to you and welcome to sun-splashed Croke Park here in Dublin as the first of the All-Ireland finalists make their way out onto the pitch. And it's Galway who are here, greeted by a deafening ovation from their fans. Noel Lane leading out the team, bidding to atone for last year's defeat. It's one of 4 losses Galway has suffered in a recent final. Will this finally be their day? Will it be like 1980 when they beat Limerick? And fantastic colour here everywhere. The red and white of Cork contrasting with the maroon and white of Galway. Very much a national occasion, of course. And there you have the packed terraces. And good afternoon, or good morning I think it should be, to viewers of closed circuit television in America watching us there from coast to coast. Viewers in San Francisco will be up around 7 a.m. glued to their televisions to watch the All-Ireland hurling final. And here comes the cheer now, and the men from Cork are out in Croke Park. Croke Park has not been a happy hunting ground for them since they last won an All-Ireland here in 1978. Since then they've lost twice to Kilkenny, and the one crumb of comfort was their centenary year victory over Offaly in Thurles, but that was 2 years ago. So the Galway team posing for the photographs. Photographs that will go into the scrapbooks later on and remain forever. Just a little bit of tension about, as you can see. Quite a young team, that Galway team. And the Cork men down at the other end. Here they are. 10 members of this team won All-Ireland medals 2 years ago, but the big surprise was the selection of Teddy McCarthy at wing forward. He's one of 4 changes from the semi-final against Antrim. Injury forces Dermot McCurtain and John Hodgins out, while John Fitzgibbon and John Buckley move down to the subs. Dennis Walsh takes over at wing back. Pat Hartnett, despite an injured shoulder, is wrist on the other flank, and yet another injury now. John Fenton starts in his usual midfield berth. Here's Tom Cashman, the man from Blackrock, leading his side and hoping to be the first Blackrock man to captain Cork to victory since the great Ray Cummins did that exactly 10 years ago here. 10 years ago, Cork were just at the start of a 3 in a row, a magnificent 3 in a row here in Croke Park, with victories over Wexford in '76. And it's a very, very warm day here, thankfully, in Croke Park. Plenty of sunshine about, and the pitch looking in magnificent condition. Well, we haven't taken a look just yet at the Galway team. Let's do so now. And there's the Galway team with the same side that defeated Kilkenny in sensational fashion in the semi-final 4 weeks ago. Only the numbers have been changed, as they say, to confuse the commentators. Pierce Piggott wears number 10, while Joe Cooney is listed at full forward. Anthony Cunningham wears the 13 shirt, but will probably be given a free role to play. And while the cornerbacks, they've been switched as well. The big question, of course, will they now be able to switch a losing run in All-Ireland finals into a winning pattern? Only time will tell. And there we have their team captain, 31-year-old Noel Lane, And Joe Cooney, very much the young hero who's only 21, had a marvellous match in the semi-final against Kilkenny, setting up goals and scoring goals himself. And the atmosphere here is really electric, a highly charged atmosphere as always on All-Ireland final day. Hardly a space to be found in there, and a crowd probably around 68,000. Teddy McCarthy here from Glanmire, a SARS man playing in his very first championship match. And what a nice way to make your championship debut, right in the final. Will he have those red and white flags flying up there on Hill 16? And here he is, Jimmy Barry Murphy. I rate him the coolest character down there in the field. He spent last night watching the dog races in Shelburne Park, and he loves his football. He also likes the dogs. John Bailey from Dublin with the toss, and Noel Lane seems to have won the toss, and he'll be opting to play, it appears, from right to left. I'll just clarify that. There is a breeze blowing down the field in towards Hill 16, and it could well be that they will play against the breeze in the first half, Galway. Johnny Clifford there, the Cork coach. He coached them in '83. There's the breeze, quite a stiffish breeze blowing diagonally across Croke Park. There's Johnny Clifford, a great player, of course, who played the last time that these two counties met in an All-Ireland final, 1953. He was the coach in 1983 when they failed to Kilkenny, hoping for a bit more luck today. Here's Jerry McInerney, a young man from Kinvara in Galway. He was a left half-back on the Galway minor team of '83, the only Galway minor team to have won the All-Ireland Championship. And he's one of 4 players from that minor team now stepping up to full senior grade. This is the 3rd time, by the way, that these sides will have met in an All-Ireland final. There's Cyril Farrell, the man who's done so much. He's been associated with all of Galway's successes at minor, under-21 and senior level. And I know one fan of Galway, 90-year-old Tom Codovin from Salt Hill is watching this match this afternoon, and 90-year-old Tom was a sub on the 1923 All-Ireland winning Galway team. They've only won it twice. Tom is hoping this will be the 3rd time this afternoon against Cork. We've mentioned our viewers in America, of course, all over America watching this game this afternoon. One man in particular, Father Matty Walsh, who was the chairman of the Galway County Board in the 40s and 50s, he's watching it at the Irish Centre in San Francisco. What he's watching right now is Conor Hayes, the great fullback for Galway. He'll have the task of marking Jimmy Barry Murphy this afternoon, in all probability. Dennis Conroy of the Cork County Board, a flamboyant character, and keeping away the sunshine with that dazzling hat. And here we've got Pierce Piggott, who played as a 3rd midfielder for Galway.
McDonagh from Conroach. Joe McDonagh, if I can put it to you first. A lot expected of this Galway team here today. They're going into the match favourites, but a lot of these players are young players and inexperienced players. I wonder if the occasion is going to get to them.
Well, it's a big occasion, Michael. It's a big occasion to come here in an All-Ireland final, but a lot of them have been through the mill last year, and I suppose what a lot of people have been disregarding, that these young fellas, a lot of these young fellas are winners all along. Many of them have All-Ireland medals coming through from vocational schools, minor, under 21, so they're a different breed of Galway hurler, if you wish, to the previous teams that we had here in Croke Park.
Conroach, Cork has so much more experience, I suppose, than Galway on occasions like this, but I think it's not the lack of experience that's worrying Cork people going into this match. It's a question over the fitness of many of the players. Now, we know that particularly Pat Hartnett is carrying a dislocated shoulder into this match. He's actually got a pin in his shoulder. Given that kind of background, doubts over John Fenton, John Crowley as well, is that something that you're worried about? Because, of course, Cork has already today lost players who can't line out here today on the side.
Yes, Michael, that's very true. Pat Hartnett obviously must be, you know, it's a gamble maybe taking a chance with him playing with an injured shoulder. He is, from the lads I've been speaking to, have said, you know, he's been going extremely well in training, and I think he wouldn't be in the final unless he was 100% fit. You know, same goes for Johnny Crowley. I think Johnny is, you know, he's went through a fitness test yesterday, but even passed it flying. You know, so I think that, you know, mentally I think they're here for the game, and, you know, I think they're looking forward to the game, you know.
Well, I suppose, Con, injuries are inclined to fade away into the distance a little bit when you get out there onto the field just before the big final itself. A marvellous scene as the players break away from the Artane boys band after the parade. Let's rejoin Gerard Canning.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. Today's final, by the way, is the 98th All-Ireland hurling final, though next year they'll be celebrating the centenary of the first final, but there wasn't a final in 1888 or 1911, as I remember, and so next year will be the 99th, so it'll be the centenary of the first, and they can have their 100th celebrations of the first final in 2 years' time. That's a bit confusing. But a spectacular scene. Splendidly sunny afternoon. Cork will be playing from left to right in the first half against the breeze. Packed terraces, agus anish, Shagoiv out on the Vian. Well and truly drawn. And just a quick recap of the teams. This is how Cork will line out despite injury worries to Pat Hartnett, Johnny Crowley and John Fenton. 10 of the team were on Cork's last All-Ireland winning team 2 years ago, while 10 of today's Galway team were in the side beaten in last year's final by Offaly. The newcomers, John Cummins, wing-back Jerry McInerney, forwards Martin Naughton, Pierce Pickett and Anthony Cunningham. John Bailey, the 39-year-old referee from Dublin, sets the scene and the match is underway. And we notice some switches already, as expected, in the Galway team. This is Anthony Cunningham trying for the point, and he's put it wide. Cunningham, as expected, seems to be playing a kind of right-wing forward position. Pierce Pickett's in midfield as expected. Sylvie Linane is being given the task of marking Jimmy Barry Murphy. Conor Hayes is on Kevin Hennessy. And there he is, Jimmy Barry being marked by the tenacious Sylvie Linane. Johnny Crowley's all on his own at the moment because of the confusion down there. There he is on his own for a moment. That's Joe Cooney picking up Anthony Cunningham here. Direct, forceful play by Galway as they look for some early scores. Stopped by Dennis Walsh, the man from Connacht near Fermoy. That'll be a line ball for Galway. So some early switches there, Eamon Cregan sitting here beside me. How do you think this was going to go and how would it affect Galway and Cork?
Well, after the Kilkenny match we were saying that Galway wouldn't try the same tactics twice, but they have done it. They have done the same thing. They've brought the corner forward way out into midfield and left Johnny Crowley on his own lost. We're now watching John Fenton taking a touch.
So John Fenton, that's the 65-metre line. The Galway subs just behind him. Breeze into his face. It's a free indeed, and he's put it wide. So both sides have had one wide each. We await the first score. John Cummins with the puck out. It's between Tom Cashman and Brendan Linsky. Johnny Crowley misses it completely. Richard Brown, and a bit of pushing there on Brendan Linsky. The referee has the whistle blown, and it'll be a free in to Galway. A very tough campaigner as always is Brendan Linsky. Joe Cooney is the free taker. Not a task he particularly wants to have. But he's put the first three over the bar, and he's given Galway the lead. 2.5 minutes are gone. So the Galway flags are flying high. Teddy McCarthy going for that ball, gets it at the second attempt, but straight to Tony Kilkenny. A very effective midfield player to a very good man on the 40 for Galway. That's Brendan Linsky. Fouled yet again. Already he's in the wars. And the referee has a quick word with Jim Cashman, tells him to take it nice and easy, Jim. Jim Cashman, a younger brother of Tom Cashman, the Cork captain. Joe Cooney's gone way out right into the centre of the field to take this free. Giving it plenty of height. Aimed towards Anthony Cunningham. Still in play, and Richard Brown fires it across towards the far wing, towards Tony O'Sullivan. Peter Finnerty gets there first. Had a great season last year. Was a little disappointing in the league, but now back to his best. Noel Lane palms it down. But it comes to Johnny Crowley of Cork. Teddy McCarthy here. Galway, remember, the early leaders, leading by a point to no score for Cork. The goalkeeper advances. Kevin Hennessy with a chance. Missed it the first time. Conor Hayes got it in interception. Cork still on the attack. Kevin Hennessy looking for an equaliser. He's got it. The sides are level thanks to Kevin Hennessy. His persistence finally paying off. Every indication really that Cork are going to use every opportunity in attack to test the young goalkeeper John Commons. Pahart that fouled, free to Cork. Tom Cashman's long free towards Jimmy Barry Murphy. Can't hold on to it. But he was being pushed, the referee quite correctly, awards a free in. It'll be from the 20-metre line. Jimmy Brohan of Cork, one of the selectors, the man with the water bottle. So John Fenton will be the one, as always, to take the free. Was troubled by an ankle injury for the last 10 days. Went through a fitness test on Wednesday night. So can he give Cork an early lead? He goes for a goal! To that well-directed goal by John Fenton. Everyone in the crowd was expecting a point, including the Galway players, but it went high and over the goalkeeper. So back with the play, and what a body blow that is to Galway after only 6 minutes. A lot of people, of course, had been saying that there was so much class in this Cork team, they simply couldn't be forgotten. They've been written off by many of the pundits, or many of the experts. Tony O'Sullivan keeping on the pressure. Tomas Mulcahy unable to get to it. Tony Keady gets it out. Johnny Crowley. So Galway, having gone into their formation that they used in the semi-final, shattered by that early goal. Really now trying to apply themselves to the fight, and they've got themselves a free. They're playing away down at the other end, but there was another foul on Brendan Linsky, who seems to be the target for much of the pressure so far. A general feeling, of course, that he is very much the danger man.
Ger, I think at the moment Galway have confused themselves by drawing out the corner forward out to midfield. Now, what has happened is Cork have got a goal against the run of the play, and Johnny Crowley has picked up quite a lot of ball. I've seen Cyril Farrell come onto the field to direct Kilkenny into the corner forward position, which he's about to do.
Joe Cooney taps over the free. That's Galway's second score. Ger Cunningham. They said Finbar's man taking the puck out. Aimed towards Teddy McCarthy. The wing forward has possession. Now can he get in the shot? Tony Keady, the defender, making it difficult for him. To Tomas Mulcahy, a former All-Star. Again they go looking for a goal. He touched the stick that time of Ger Fitzgerald. John Commons, the goalkeeper, is being sorely tested in the opening minutes. That's quite clear. His debut season in the championship, and already he's finding it quite hot down there. Jim Cashman. Cork really taking a grip after that goal. Teddy McCarthy has it, and he's won the free in for Cork. And again it'll be John Fenton who will take it.
I think Teddy McCarthy is going to be the man, could be the man of this match today, because already he has put an awful lot of pressure on the Kilkenny defence. He's tough, he's strong, he has tremendous courage.
So John Fenton, I wonder would he ever think of trying for another goal. He's content with the point. It comes off the post and goes over the bar. So John Fenton doing the sensible thing, and a goal between the teams. Nearly 9 minutes gone in the first half. Directed towards Brendan Linsky. Tony Kilkenny got a stick to it. Johnny Crowley without any stick, and the referee saw a bit of holding by one of the Galway players. Free out for Cork. And after the early pressure in the opening couple of minutes from Galway, it's been all Cork for about the last 5 or 6. Johnny Crowley today, he's bidding for his 5th All-Ireland medal. Tony Keady beaten by Tomas Mulcahy, who's doing quite well at centre forward so far. Jim Cashman, the midfield player right up there with the forwards, inviting the push in the back. The referee says that will be a free in.
Galway seem to be the more nervous side here today. They seem to be under terrible pressure and things are going wrong, but there's still plenty of time in the game yet.
John Fenton then just outside the 20-metre line. This is a more difficult angle. John has already contributed a goal and a point from frees. A great striker of a ball, crisply putting it over the bar. Another lovely point. Such a deadly striker of a ball, John Fenton. Indeed, there had been a lot of worry in Cork over the last couple of days that he might not have been able to play because of an ankle injury. But so far, it certainly hasn't come against him. Brendan Linsky now to lift the siege and to set Galway away. He's dragged down yet again. And that must have been the 3rd or 4th time that's happened. Joe Cooney will take the free. And Joe Cooney, the scorer of all of Galway's points so far. Cork now leading by double scores. But certainly Galway so far struggling to get into their regular pattern. That's a mighty puck out. Against the breeze, remember. Jerry McInerney battling away but losing it. Jimmy Barry Murphy trying to get it to Tomas Mulcahy, succeeding dangerously in. And a goal! Kevin Hennessy the scorer! Kevin Hennessy scores Cork's 2nd goal. 12 minutes are gone. It was wide across the area and dribble in from the narrowest of angles. That's brilliant finishing. So what a shattering blow this is to Galway. They were the hot favourites coming into the match, and that's never an easy thing to carry with you into an All-Ireland final. Everyone expecting you to do well, and then you get rocked by 2 goals inside 12 minutes. So it's the Cork fans here in the Hogan stand, the happiest at the moment, but there's a long way to go. First out to the ball that time was Richard Brown. He was impeded as he was doing so. Gets a pat in the back from Dennis Walsh, says, well done Richard, back to the full-back position. And some angry looks being exchanged there between Noel Lane and Richard Brown. Richard Brown, who's a 25-year-old dentist, as Tom Cashman rouses his colleagues. When I was talking to Tom on Friday, he was very, very determined that Cork would not fail. A dangerous kind of a ball, Peter Finnerty getting it out for Galway. Cork looking sharper. This is Jimmy Barry Murphy getting right into the match. Stopped, however. It comes wide across the goal, and it's Sylvie Linane who gets it out. Beyond Pat Hartnett to Martin Nocton, a player of great pace, great speed. Now can he deliver the final telling pass? He's going for a point, and he's missed it. Well, he might have given the service just a little bit earlier. He's a good carrier of the ball, Martin Nocton, but I think you'll agree, Eamon Cregan, that that was a chance simply gone a-begging.
Yes, indeed. It's very interesting, the contrast in styles. Galway play a possession game when they run with the ball. Cork are playing more direct, and Cork have scored two goals because of that.
Certainly Cork have caught Galway on the hop. That's Steve Mahan. Downfield towards Noel Lane. Galway needing a goal. Very near the end line. Dennis Mulcahy dangerously keeping it in play, because it's gone back to Galway, to Noel Lane. The pass, however, has gone astray. Seemed to go off a Cork stick, and it's the first 65 of the match. Just coming up to 15 minutes gone in the game. And Cork, the leaders by 2 goals, 2-3 to 3 points. And some of the Galway supporters here near us, very subdued at the moment. Tony Keady takes the free, dropping it into the square. Johnny Crowley gets the stick to it. Went off his stick, I thought. And the umpire quickly out, and that will be another 65. Johnny Crowley still disputing that with the umpire.
It'd be interesting to see how Galway will recover Michael or Ger. They're kind of shocked at the moment, and there was a 70, and instead of taking a positive stance to them, Tony Keady lobbed the ball into the square.
Here's Keady yet again. Ger Cunningham under it, stops it calmly. There was some pushing, and that will be a free out. He's a very confident goalkeeper, had a couple of very good seasons at the start of the 80s. Went through a difficult spell for a while there when the confidence seemed to ebb from him. But he's back to his best, Ger Cunningham. Peter Finnerty here, who's also playing a terrific game. Hard pulling, Dennis Walsh gets it. Back to Peter Finnerty for Galway. Launching the counter burst, that's a great shot. Oh, that's a lovely point. 60 metres from his own goal. And he lobs it over the bar in dramatic fashion. 5 points between them now. That's the kind of goal that can really give a team a spur. They were going through a valley period, Galway, and they've certainly now found a little bit of inspiration. The Galway fans who've travelled here in their thousands, hoping that this time the McCarthy Cup will cross over the Shannon on Monday night. They were so disappointed last year against Offaly. If Galway take the cup home, it'll be Noel Lane who will take it with him. Joe Cooney for Anthony Cunningham, the goalkeeper advances. Seemed to be a bit of holding, the referee allowed an advantage. Joe Cunningham gets up. Very near the sideline, Peter Finnerty steps out over the sideline, and a line ball to Cork. A good bit of anticipation that time by Ger Cunningham. It could so easily have been a score at the other end. Instead, Cork go back into the offensive. So John Fenton, who was Cork's captain when they last won the All-Ireland in 1984, and this is the angle he's aiming at. He's a great exponent of a sideline ball, an expert at cutting the ball up. It's one of the real skills in Gaelic football, or rather in hurling. That's a beautiful shot, but inches wide. Shakes his head in disappointment.
Ger, it's great to see it, but it's a puck out. He sent the ball wide. Great ball, but it's 90 yards clearance for the Galway players.
Brendan Linsky has difficulty taking it into his hand. Tony Kilkenny, his midfield partner, one of two midfield partners. Galway looking a bit confused at the moment. I think they've been confusing themselves by some of the early switches. There's a lack of direction and cohesion in their forward line. The system we saw against Kilkenny 4 weeks ago in the semi-final worked a dream, but when it's not working so well, it looks very, very tattered and confused. Pat Hartnett's ball. Taken by Tomás Mulcahy. He has been so effective. Here he is looking for a goal. There's nothing to stop him except the stick of Sylvie Linane. And it's cleared away out of danger. It could so easily have been goal number 3. Here's Piggott, the man from Gort, trying to get Galway moving in attack, hitting the ball into an outside right position, as it were, a right corner forward position, and there simply is nobody there at the moment. John Fenton, first to the ball. Jimmy Barry Murphy taking it low, down to Tomás Mulcahy. A point. He might have got a point just a moment or two ago. But Tomás Mulcahy linking up with the great Jimmy Barry Murphy, who's the oldest player in the match today, though he's only 32. Linking up effectively, and Cork get the score. Tom Cashman covering off in defence. Pat Hartnett playing at wing back. John Fenton there first. And a bit of holding that time by Teddy McCarthy on Jerry McInerney. John Fenton seemed to get a clip on the ankle that time as he was first to the ball. He's hobbling around just at the moment. Tony Keady taking that free from the 65-metre line, dropping it in ominously, but a couple of feet wide of goal. It just needed a touch. Very quickly pucked out by Ger Cunningham as Cork tried to press home their advantage. I think they feel that they've got Galway on the rack at the moment, and they're looking for every possible score. Tomás Mulcahy, who's been a revelation on the 40. Tony O'Sullivan getting into the match. In towards Ger Fitzgerald. Stopped by Ollie Kilkenny. Ollie Kilkenny is a very, very effective cornerback. The man from Kiltormer was held, and that will be a free out. Galway have plenty of talent on their bench, and before too much longer, you'd begin to wonder whether we might see PJ Malloy or Michael Connolly come on the field. Jim Cashman, first time hurling. Into space, Jerry McInerney here. Not such a long puck. Added to by Peter Finnerty, who's giving it everything. Tony O'Sullivan, the man Peter Finnerty is marking this afternoon. Towards Jerry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's an army man, one of the Middleton players. John Commons, they're really testing him. And he certainly is answering the questions. Now can he clear from danger? While he puts himself into trouble.
Ger, I think Galway are a very nervous side at the moment. They're not playing with the same belief in themselves that they had against Kilkenny, and they're hoping things will happen, but they're not making them happen.
Johnny Clifford and Dr. Con Murphy, the medical officer of the Cork team, with the word of advice to John Fenton. Con Murphy just attending to John Fenton. There's Cyril Farrell on his feet for a moment. John Fenton again goes for a direct score. Stopped by Jerry McInerney stepping into the breach. Out towards Tony Kilkenny. One of the two Kilkenny brothers playing. He's the older. Pat Hartnett can't hold on to it. Martin Naughton tries to get Galway moving. Brendan Linsky, so much expected from him. It comes to Tom Cashman, however. Towards Tony O'Sullivan. Stopped by Peter Finnerty. Finnerty is such a brave wing-back. Martin Naughton again. A good ball carrier, as we saw earlier. This time opting for the early ball. It's cut out by Dennis Mulcahy. Running into a strong and tenacious challenge from Steve Mahan, who's going for the point. And he's got it! That's more like it from Galway as they get themselves back in the match. 2-4 to 5 points the score, and we have 23 minutes gone in the first half. Well, that's what the fans have come to see. John Fenton, by the way, clearly injured, is now playing corner forward, it seems. If not corner forward, it's right half forward. Tony O'Sullivan, for the moment, seems to have gone back. Teddy McCarthy, rather, has gone back into midfield. Cyril Farrell looking a little agitated. Things just not going quite right, not going to plan. Jim Cashman's taking over the job of taking the line balls. Peter Finnerty cuts it out. Down towards Joe Cooney, who's been well marked so far by Richard Brown. Brendan Linsky having difficulty, as always. Two men going to mark him every time. The unmarked man, however, was Steve Mahan. Towards Anthony Cunningham. It comes off him towards Joe Cooney. That spells danger every time Cooney's got the ball for Cork. And a lovely point from Martin Naughton. Cork in trouble every time Cooney gets that ball, and Martin Naughton is there to apply the finish, and now there's just 4 points between the teams, and that is really nothing in the game of hurling. Just listen to the supporters from Galway in particular. Oh, a lovely catch by Jerry McInerney. The two wing-backs for Galway are playing very, very well. Kicking it clear into space, but he was fouled as he did so. The referee saw a foul after he released the ball, so it's a free from where the ball lands, and that's in the middle of the field. Well, there's been a bit of a turnabout, Eamon, in the last couple of minutes. Cork were so dominant for, I suppose, the 3rd minute to about the 20th minute. It's been all Galway for about the last 4.
Yes, indeed. They begin to believe in themselves. They're now playing the type of hurling that they're good at.
Tony Keady's free, and it's a point. That's a real rallying point. The fans of the maroon and white, they don't want to see their team defeated yet again. So 3 points between the teams. Were Galway to lose this final, remember, it would be their 5th loss in an All-Ireland final in 6 attempts since 1975. And that's Keady again. Pierce Piggott towards Martin Naughton, stopped by Pat Hartnett. Here's Brendan Linsky, going further and further back into his own half of the field, however. Getting nothing lightly. Teddy McCarthy breaks the stick, throws it away in disgust. It's a free to Galway. The referee says just take it nice and easy, but he may have picked up an injury as well. That's Noel Collins, the team trainer. Tony Keady is poised meanwhile. The game will continue. It's a lovely shot. It's over the bar. Another significant score. 2 points between them. Tony Keady's second inside 2 minutes. Well, Galway, who were at sea for a long time, following 2 shattering goals by Cork, have brought themselves right back into it. Ger Cunningham was a long puck expert, but towards Peter Finnerty, and Finnerty is very dominant in that area. This is a great performance by the Galway half-back line against what should be said, I think, a fairly experimental Cork half-forward line. Pat Hartnett, the shoulder was challenged, untested that time, and that's I think Brendan Linsky who's down injured, and he really hit himself badly that time. We watched Pat Hartnett again coming away, Now watch for a shoulder here. There's the shoulder, and it was Brendan Linsky who came off second best. And attention is required for Brendan Linsky. He really took a shattering blow that time. It may have been the stick, it may have been the impact of the ground, as Pat Hartnett was taking it away out of danger. It may have been Hartnett's stick, as we watch it again, that caught Brendan Linsky. It was, as the stick was going backwards. Now, to lose Brendan Linsky at this stage, and he is most likely concussed, and the stretcher is out, as you can see. The Galway doctor, Mary McInerney, there in the light green tracksuit, the green legs of the tracksuit there, you can see, there she is. And this is a shattering blow. He's back on his feet, but he surely is very, very dazed. Now, Brendan Linsky, and anybody who knows him and admires him, knows that he's a man of steel, a man of great courage. He wants to play on. The fans want him to play on as well. But common sense will have to prevail. I don't know that he's as fit as he might be. He's taken a right old blow that time. Mary McInerney isn't too pleased, and she doesn't want to let him back on, and it's her responsibility, of course, to make sure that everyone is fit and able to play. So one of the better things, I think, about modern day hurling, there's always a doctor present, and Brendan Linsky, in spite of his efforts to play on, he's having some medical attention. It wouldn't surprise me, mind you, if he was back later on. Meanwhile, we'll follow the play. Galway down for the moment to 14 men. That's a nice ball towards Anthony Cunningham. Tom Cashman makes the save when the goalkeeper was beaten. It's gone for a 65. Galway with 14 men, so very nearly snatching the lead. The goalkeeper came out as Anthony Cunningham was going in. They missed it completely, and watch for Tom Cashman picking up the pieces and clearing it away out of danger. 5 minutes to go to half-time. And a real old Titanic-style All-Ireland final. Tony Keady, one of the heroes for Galway so far, taking it. He's got another point. That's 3 he's got, and there's just a point between the sides. What a great game Tony Keady is playing. Burst on the scene last year in the All-Ireland hurling semi-final against Cork, and he's enhancing his reputation this afternoon as one of the best centre-backs in the country. We haven't seen any sign of a replacement so far for Brendan Linsky, and I think Brendan Linsky may well be on his way to get some medical attention. Meanwhile, Anthony Cunningham in the wars over there. It also brought coach Johnny Clifford to his feet. Quite incensed with the decision, but it's a free into Galway. So, just a point between the teams in the All-Ireland hurling final of 1986. 4 minutes of actual playing time to go to half-time. And Keady, with a sensational performance, has put the sides level. Croke Park stands and salutes a great centre-back. Tony Keady has tied up the scores. What a devastating display of free-taking this is by the centre-half back. And it's Keady who's out to beat it again. But Jerry McInerney just got there first, his colleague. Joe Cooney coming way out the field to get some space for himself, leaving Noel Lane and Anthony Cunningham dovetailing up there in the full forward line. Joe Cooney into the challenge yet again. Such an accomplished young player, but so much has been expected of him. Bad pass by Pierce Piggott to Johnny Crowley, the spare man in defence. Jimmy Barry Murphy against Sylvia Linnane, his marker. And Sylvia's done quite well so far. Jimmy hasn't scored in the match. And that's gone wide. Despite the best efforts of John Fenton, who's hobbling away in this match, carried an ankle injury into the game. And Brendan Linsky, I can tell you, is back in the match. It takes more than an injured head to keep this man of steel out of the action. He's in under the dropping ball again. Away by Jim Cashman, but only as far as Pierce Piggott for Galway. Into the open space, and racing onto it is Anthony Cunningham. Johnny Crowley is the marker for Cork, wearing number 4. A star when Cork won a 3 in a row in the 70s. Linsky then hasn't even got a bandage. Well, he's a really brave player. I think the other players on the field, surely they look at him and say that with his example, we just can't fail. Steve Mahan taking the line ball. It's wide. So the sides are still level. Cork 2-4, that's 10 points. Galway 10 points.
It's a most peculiar game, Ger. In the first 20 minutes, Cork were all over Galway, and suddenly Galway started to come back with 4 great points by Tony Keady. I see John Fenton has gone in corner forward. I think they should take him off. He's hobbling there. He's just not capable of playing at the moment.
Teddy McCarthy leaving it run over his head. And Tomás Mulcahy has been less and less effective in the last 10 minutes as Tony Keady has simply taken a grip on the proceedings. And this is Peter Finnerty, his colleague, coming up with the ball, making a great save and winning the free. So Keady will take the free. The sides level in the final. Galway looking the more determined and the more likely in the last few minutes. Johnny Crowley stops it. Nice hand pass to Dennis Walsh. Towards Teddy McCarthy, having difficulty taking it low. Jerry McInerney is first time to that ball. Nice little sidestep. Now can he deliver the pass in, or will he go for the point himself? He carried it too far, it seemed. He took it more than the 4 steps permitted. And a touch of inexperience being shown in his play. Tom Cashman looking around to see just where he should deliver this ball. Dropping it in towards Jimmy Barry Murphy, but overhitting the pass as Jimmy was being well marshalled by Sylvie Linnane. But the referee has whistled up the play, and he's awarding a free to Cork as the crowd wondered just why. Probably a little bit of pushing off the ball. John Bailey, who becomes the 10th Dubliner to referee a hurling All-Ireland final this afternoon. Steve Mahan issuing the instructions to the defence, don't get caught out again. John Fenton will be the free taker.
It seems the reason for the free, Ger, is that the Galway fellas are staying too close to the free taker. It's as simple as that. That's why he's pushing back Pierce Piggott there.
So John Fenton with the injured ankle. And his one contribution that he can make, I suppose, is accurate free taking. As he gives Cork the lead again. Right in the dying embers of this first half, John Fenton gives Cork a 1-point lead. So a goal and 3 points is the Middleton man's contribution. Tony O'Sullivan reading the ball. That was Brendan Linsky with a delightful interception. Line ball to Cork. Very near the half-time whistle. I'm sure Brendan Linsky will be glad of the break. Pat Hartnett cutting it up again towards Ger Fitzgerald, or Jimmy Barry batted down, however, to Steve Mahan. And the foul on Steve Mahan by Jim Cashman as Jimmy Barry walks away. Tony Keady is the free taker. This one about 45 metres from his own goal. A well-struck free, wind-assisted, but just out over the end line in this highly competitive All-Ireland hurling final, which we hope you are thoroughly enjoying. The match now into injury time. 2 minutes of injury time has been played so far. And the referee, I think, won't be playing too much more. In fact, there it is, the half-time whistle. So, a first half in which Brendan Linsky was in the wars. Cork rocked Galway with 2 goals, were then themselves taken back to level pegging until John Fenton pushed them ahead again with that last point. Cork go in at half-time, leading by 2-5 to 10 points. Leaves you very much in doubt, and the prospects exciting. So the teams head away to the dressing room for some words of advice as we go back now to join Michael Lester.
Yes, well, Galway came to Croke Park as favourites today. Cork came to Croke Park with several injury worries, but any notion that this would be a rout for Galway, I think they are well dispelled now. We have celebrating this year 100 years of entertaining the crowds at GAA matches. There are players from the past, from the present, and indeed players in the future as well, players from the Learners School, who someday will wear the famous blue and red of the Artane Boys Band here in Croke Park. Let's join them again for a moment. So there, the Artane Boys Band then adding a touch of tranquility, if you like, to the half-time proceedings here in the match. But I can tell you that's going to be shouted again very shortly. Before it is, let me talk again to our two panellists. We have Joe McDonough from Galway. I'm also joined by Con Roach from Cork. Con, whatever we might have expected from this match going into the game, it's turned out very, very different indeed. And Cork certainly have got stuck in with Galway in the early stages.
Yes, Michael, I think looking at the game, I think the Tiger favourites has really got to Galway. They seem to be very tensed, and it's only the last quarter of an hour they've come into the game. Their half-back line seem to be getting on top, and Tony Keaty has struck some great long-range points there and really has got them back in the game.
If we watch here, Con, one of the major blows that Cork hit Galway in the first half, John Fenton's goal, now that was the one that really set the match up for Cork and got them in there.
That's right, Michael. I think it was a good shot.
You think he may have mishit it?
I don't think he went for the goal. I think he caught him unawares and then went into the net, you know. But I think if we can keep Pat Hartman, I think is struggling a bit with his injury. I think I just saw him there a while ago holding the shoulder, and I think if we can keep Fenton and Hartman going, I think Cork are in there with a chance, you know. But
Joe McDonough certainly are in there with a chance. This is the second goal for Cork, and Galway found it very difficult to get into any kind of rhythm in these first 15-20 minutes.
Well, they seem to be a very nervous team in that first 15 to 20 minutes, and I think it didn't help them settle down at all. Whereas
Kevin Hennessy slipping in neatly there.
Yeah, a certain amount of laxness there in the Galway defence, I thought, and that probably stemmed from the nervousness. But certainly Cork hit Galway very, very quickly early on in the game with those snap goals, as it were, and it reminds one of the whirlwind start they had. I think it was in 82 against Kilkenny when Ray Cummins had a golden point scored inside a few minutes. But Galway came back into it again, and just noticed that from the 20th minute to the 36th, that minute of extra injury time there, they hadn't scored, and Galway had a brace of points, and they began to settle down much more. But I think that a significant factor in the play is the two styles of play. Galway are trying to play this possession game, as it were, whereas Galway are playing it very direct. I think Eamon referred to it earlier on in his comments. And I think that it was the obvious thing to do with the style of play that Galway are playing at the moment, because looking back to victories earlier in the 70s, we beat Cork in those days. The Galway teams beat Cork with a direct style of play. And I think that a little bit of confidence from the win against Kilkenny may have sort of given Galway, shall we say, a little bit of overconfidence in the sense that they're trying to mess and poke a little bit too much with the ball rather than hitting it more direct, because Cork are obviously trying to counteract.
Well, obviously this is something that Cyril Farrell and the rest of the selectors are going to be talking about in the dressing room now. Quickly, Joe, the question is, do you think Galway can do it now?
Well, I think if Galway settle down and tend to try and spread it out a little bit more. There's an awful lot of bunching going on there, which isn't suiting them at all, and 3 and 4 fellas going for the one ball. And to spread the wings, we haven't seen the wings used at all to the same effect as we did against Kilkenny in the semi-final.
Now, Cork have begun to struggle a little bit towards the end of that match from another point of view, Con. Injuries are beginning to catch up. John Fenton is limping. Can Cork hold out now at this stage, leading by a point? Will their experience see them through?
Well, as I said there, Michael, I think that's going to be the major factor in the second half. As I said, if Hartnett can continue and John Fenton can come back in the middle of the field, I think yes, they will have a good chance in the second half. But it's going to be very. I don't think Galway have played at all yet. You know, I think they've yet to start playing. I think, you know, and that's a worrying factor. I think, you know.
But obviously on the big day it's all going to be down to the next 35 minutes, the experience of Cork, the enthusiasm of Galway. Can Galway get their tactics sorted out? It all remains to be seen, as I said, over the next 35 minutes. Let's see how the drama unfolds as we rejoin our commentator, Ger Canning.
Thank you very much, Michael. Up in Hill 16, it seems that trouble is breaking out. The Galway supporters and the Cork supporters getting involved in the tangle. Galway coming back out for the second half, and it'll be interesting to see, is PJ Malloy coming out with them, because he was definitely called in. He is. PJ Malloy is in the Galway team. My guess would be that perhaps Pierce Piggott is the one who's withdrawn. And there is PJ Malloy, 34 years of age, played in that memorable All-Ireland semi-final in 1975 when Galway beat Cork to start the beginning of a new era in Galway hurling. So we look around just to see, are there any other changes? I don't think so, and it seems indeed that Piggott is the one who has been withdrawn. Here come Cork, leading by a point at half-time, but with it all to do. The injuries beginning now to catch up. John Fenton even, look at that, limping out. The man in the white helmet here. And really, you've got to ask yourselves, would it not be wiser to bring on a fresher sub, even if he hadn't the same experience as John Fenton? Brendan Linsky is playing. He's on the 40. There in the centre of your picture, being marked by Tom Cashman, the brave-hearted man from Meelick Airport. This only the third ever Cork-Galway meeting. 1928, 1929, and more recently, 1953. So, just a point between the teams at half-time. Cork are the leaders. The breeze even seems to have swung around for a moment and is now in Galway's favour yet again for the second half. But it's not as influential as it was in the early moments of the first half. Tony Keady, first half hero for Galway. Down towards Joe Cooney, still operating at full forward. PJ Malloy now playing top of the right. Kevin Hennessy having difficulty holding on to it. And he got Cork's second goal, looking for the opening score of the second half. John Cummins. So one wonders now whether Cork will try to start in emphatic fashion as they did at the start of the first half. Pat Hartnett. They'll be trying to get as many scores on the scoreboard as possible, while they have people like John Fenton still on the field. He's coming over to take this line ball, and really at this stage that's about as much as you can hope from him, taking placed balls. Tomas Mulcahy going for a goal, comes off one of the defenders, off Jerry McInerney, lobbed away out by Tony Kilkenny. Teddy McCarthy there to pick it up for Cork. John Cummins saving it. Cork firing everything in at the Galway goalkeeper in the opening minutes of the second half. And when you look through the respective subs list, the Cork list looks a little lightweight really. Many inexperienced players straight out of minor around 21. The Galway subs list a lot more experienced really. People like Seamus Cohen, who's a current All-Star. Michael Connolly in that list as well. Tomas Mulcahy, PJ Malloy then on the field for Galway, as we said. Sub introduced at the start of the second half. Tony O'Sullivan trying to link up with Kevin Hennessy, who's roamed out towards the half-forward line. Not a good ball by any means. Peter Finnity. The defenders go up for the one ball. Two defenders committing themselves, but they get away with it. Tony O'Sullivan picking it up delightfully, trying to get into this match. He hasn't scored so far. Jerry McInerney letting it down towards Jeff Fitzgerald. across the parallelogram where Sylvie Linnane is keeping a very tight rein on Jimmy Barry Murphy, sticking to him like a leech. Comes out to Teddy McCarthy. Tony Kilkenny in pursuit. John Fenton, quite effective still, getting it back to Kevin Hennessy. And apart from that goal, we haven't seen a lot from Hennessy. But Hartnett very bravely taking that one down, despite the injured shoulder. Tomas Mulcahy. Jimmy Barry Murphy looking for a free colleague or going for the score himself. He's got the point. And the referee has blown the whistle and disallowed the score. He's giving a free in to Cork instead. The point doesn't count. So the score disallowed. The referee had blown the whistle as Jimmy was trying for the point. So John Fenton to make sure this time and put 2 points between the teams, driving it over with fierce determination. And so 2 points now between the teams. That's the opening point of the second half. Pat Hartnett letting it behind him. Tom Cashman having to cover off. Johnny Crowley, the defenders, not showing the greatest of understanding at times. Galway looking the hungrier side for victory. But it's a brave and tenacious performance by Cork nonetheless. Ger Fitzgerald down towards John Fenton, who's now operating in the corner, very near the end line, kept in play by Ollie Kilkenny. Looking for a colleague, and Sylvie Linnane makes himself available. Such a brave-hearted defender. It's Conor Hayes who completes the clearance up towards Joe Cooney, who's been very well marked. Dennis Mulcahy gets it away, but only as far as the running Martin Nocton. Running with determination, looking for Galway's first goal of the second half, and he's got it. The Turlock Moore man puts a point between the teams again. Eamon, what about this gambit of Cork's of keeping John Fenton on when he's clearly not fit to play?
The man is clearly, as can be seen, he's not fit enough to play. He can't move the ball. All he can do is take frees or take touches. That's not good enough in an All-Ireland final. I think they're making a bad mistake there.
May well be that John Fenton will be replaced very shortly as Jerry McInerney takes the ball out of defence for Galway. It's a gritty defender, sticking to his task. Opening up the play towards Noel Lane. Into the open space, but the bad pass doesn't matter in any case because Johnny Crowley is adjudged to have fouled Noel Lane. Free to Galway and a chance now to tie up the scores. Tony Keating getting ready to take the free as Cork are ready to replace John Fenton at the other end. That's Kieran Kingston who's come on, the man from Tracton at corner forward, and John Fenton is the one who'll be going off, having contributed a goal and 4 points to the Cork cause. Tony Keating with a free, and they're level. It's the equaliser. The centre half-back has now scored 5 points. He's back in the action with that puck out taken quickly. Ger Fitzgerald, it's a point. A point when it was so badly needed. Ger Fitzgerald from Middleton showing the way, his first point of the afternoon. John Fenton then most disappointed with himself, but carried an ankle injury into the game and aggravated it in the first half. Johnny Crowley racing out for that one, with a loose ball given away to the man who's standing in the gap, the centre half-back, Tony Keating. Looked around, tried the shot, but it angles away to the right and wide. Such a formidable performer, this Tony Keating. Only 22 years of age. Walsh Mulcahy beaten for it by Peter Finnerty, who loses his stick. Conor Hayes covers. 9 ball to Cork. (1923), of course, and 1980 Galway's only wins in the championship, and they have been losers in the All-Ireland final on 13 attempts. Steve Mahon and Jim Cashman there. And it's Peter Finnerty again who takes that one down towards Tony Kilkenny. Kilkenny was held. There was a nudge also on Steve Mahon, I noticed. So as Steve Mahon makes his way in to join the forwards, it's that man again, Tony Keady, will deliver the pass in. Dropping a little bit short this time to Anthony Cunningham, a player of great talent. Tony Kilkenny has a shot blocked down by Tom Cashman. It runs loose, however. Covering up over there is Pat Hartnett for Cork, the other wing back. On the way out of danger to the unmarked Tony O'Sullivan. They're marking a little slack in the middle of the field as Cork take full advantage. John Cummins under pressure. The forwards move in, but the pass well delivered to Conor Hayes, dodging round the tackle. Across the far side of the field, the game beginning to pick up in tempo. The hurling getting a little better. It was a little bit scrappy from time to time in the first half, but great commitment from two sides. Here's Tony O'Sullivan again. The man who was such an inspiration to Cork in the Munster final against Clare, delivering the pass in towards Jimmy Barry Murphy, being marked by Sylvie Linnane. John Cummins. Here's Jim Cashman. Looking around for a colleague to help him. And Galway are very good at bottling up the opponent, making the obvious pass this difficult. Dennis Mulcahy. Cork still on the attack. Galway then absorbing some pressure at the moment, and I noticed that Michael Connolly is getting ready to join the game for Galway, last year's captain. Galway on the attack. No lane. Cross down, loose ball. Dennis Walsh, who played so well in the Munster football final, seemed to be swung around that time. The referee says, play on. Here's no lane. Bottled up by 3 Cork players, and it's Dennis Walsh who gets the ball away out of danger. Into the middle of the field. Tony Keady here. Conor Hayes away towards the unmarked Tony Kilkenny. The 27-year-old rifling the pass forward into space, but there is no man up there. And Michael Connolly is making his way into the All-Ireland final. And we wait to see just who is going to go off. Steve Mahon is being called aside. And it's Steve Mahon who's gone off. Michael Connolly goes in to play at full forward. That's a bit of a surprise. Steve Mahon was such an inspiration for Galway in the semi-final against Kilkenny, but he's withdrawn after 11 minutes of the second half. Jimmy Barry Murphy letting it run loose. Tony Keady back there to help his defence. Ger Fitzgerald unable to get onto it. Jimmy Barry again. Ollie Kilkenny having a great game in defence, giving the Cork full forward line very little to play with. Juggling with the ball out of defence, and it ends up out over the end line, or the sideline. 9 ball for Cork. So Kevin Hennessy having switched wings. Nice ball, John Cummins again. He's answering all the questions. Cork, I think, felt that he was vulnerable to a high ball dropping into the square, and he's caught everyone cleanly so far. Brendan Linsky delivering the pass despite the injury in the first half to PJ Malloy. The Galway attack lacking a bit of method at the moment and cohesion. There's a little bit too much punching, but it comes to Joe Cooney, and Cooney! It's the equaliser. They're level again, 13 points apiece, thanks to Joe Cooney, his 4th point of the match. Eamon, as they say, it's a whole new ball game at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Cork and Galway are fighting it. The game is on a knife edge now at the moment, and anything can happen here to change it. A Cork goal could win, or a Galway goal could make all the difference at this moment.
Ger Fitzgerald for Cork, looking for the point. The umpires survey the posts, and one of them waves that it's wide. It can't have been too far away, however. His father, Paddy Fitzgerald, was a member of the Cork team that won the All-Ireland 20 years ago in a memorable All-Ireland final against Kilkenny. So John Commons, the goalkeeper, taking the puck out. 13 minutes of the second half gone. The sides level in the All-Ireland final. Joe Cooney, who drifts out into the middle of the field to get possession, bring himself more into the match because he was getting very little as a full forward. What a nice mazy run. Now Kenny finished positively. He was intending for PJ Malloy, and well read by Tom Cashman. Peter Finnerty's under it, so too Tomás Mulcahy. What a great catch. A good run by Tomás Mulcahy. He's angling for the score to give Cork a 1-point lead again. Or maybe a goal. It's a goal! It's a brilliant goal by Tomás Mulcahy, and Cork go into a 1-goal lead. This was a real gritty performance, a determined run. He obviously had a goal on his mind. The angle was getting so difficult as he was followed by Tony Keady and Conor Hayes, but how about that for a finish? Right into the corner. So Cork's third goal of the match. And again it puts a new complexion on the game as Johnny Crowley goes down. Brendan Linsky involved. As we take a look at that again, the referee is consulting his linesman. Eamon Cregan, what did you make of that?
Johnny Crowley walking back, bumped against Linsky. Linsky turned around and hit Johnny Crowley, and Johnny fell on the ground. And it was good acting. He'd get an Oscar for it, there's no doubt about it.
So Brendan Linsky has his name taken. Joe Cooney ready to take a line ball, but it's a free the other way, the referee decides. A bit of controversy as Brendan Linsky has his name taken. Galway trail by a goal. Dennis Walsh taking the free. It drops down to Tomás Mulcahy. Can't get the stroke onto it, however. Comes towards Kieran Kingston. Well blocked down by Ollie Kilkenny. Kilkenny racing out after it. So too Kieran Kingston. He gets there first. Another good block down. Nothing, absolutely nothing as frustrating as that, I suppose. But the players giving it everything and giving us a memorable All-Ireland final. Dennis Mulcahy down towards Teddy McCarthy. Jim Cashman says, I'll take it. Drives it in towards the forwards, in towards Jimmy Barry Murphy. The goalkeeper committed himself. Here's Jimmy Barry. Could so easily be another goal. It's a penalty. The tall full forward did everything right as the game begins to turn sour for Galway. That long inviting pass in towards Jimmy Barry Murphy. He held possession. Did he hold too long, I wonder? The defender sandwiched him, and Jimmy won the penalty.
Yes, I think it was a good decision by Bailey. Jimmy Barry caught the ball, and there was no way he could go, and there was no way the Galway fellas were going to allow him through. If he had gone through, he'd have buried the ball in the back of the net, and that would have put Cork 2 goals on.
Now the big discussion is going on, of course, as to who will take it. Ger Fitzgerald's going to take it. It probably would have been John Fenton's responsibility, but he's had to leave the match injured. John Commons, Conor Hayes, Sylvie Linane, the men in the goal line. He misses it completely, and it's a real let-off for Galway. Now after that, can they turn this match around, as Ger Fitzgerald totally missed the penalty chance. Tony O'Sullivan in towards Kieran Kingston. There's the shot, it's a point. The young substitute from Tracton gets the point. Cork are into a 4-point lead.
Sure, I think that's a terrible thing to happen for a 21-yard free to be not risen properly and then to be missed and it hit the upright. Just shows you Cork are in kind of disarray at the moment as well. Yes, even though they're leading, they are in chaos because they had only one free taker, and that was John Fenton.
We note that Galway have brought on Peter Murphy and replaced Anthony Cunningham. Now this is very interesting. There's Anthony Cunningham, the minor captain from '83, but the man who's replaced him was the goalkeeper in the All-Ireland final last year. Peter Murphy is playing right half forward. He's a very good outfield player. So let's see, can he make the difference? Tony Kilkenny on towards Joe Cooney, nice catch. To the unmarked Peter Malloy, they must get a score here, took his eye off it. The pass was just a tiny bit weak, I think. The defenders crowd in quickly, make it difficult for the forwards. The loose ball favours Brendan Linsky. Here's Peter Murphy now. There's the shot, and there's just a goal between them again. Peter Murphy's first score comes within a minute of making his appearance in the All-Ireland final. And a lovely pass, the credit goes to Brendan Linsky. Ger Cunningham then put this puck out. The supporters here on the edge of their seats, those who've been lucky enough to get seats, of course. Peter Murphy, Johnny Crowley and Noel Lane, the clash of the ash. It's getting a little bit too ferocious down there between those two. And the referee gives a free to Cork. Brendan Linsky, of course, has already had his name taken. Here's Dennis Walsh with the free. Goes the man at top of the right, who's Kieran Kingston. Ollie Kilkenny. Ger Fitzgerald. A real determined shoulder from Ger Fitzgerald. Not such a good strike, however, it might come to some use. Jimmy Barry Murphy. A lovely point from Jimmy Barry. His latest score, Cork's latest. A delightful effort from the right wing. Ger Fitzgerald, just look at this for overhead striking. Could have gone anywhere. So 4 points between the teams again. Tony Kilkenny, Peter Murphy adding to it, to Joe Cooney. Outside him, Peter Murphy once again. Looks very sharp, good stop, and it's gone for a 65. A good stop by Ger Cunningham, covering the angles sensibly. And here's a man who should know all about goalkeeping angles. Last year's goalkeeper against Offaly, Peter Murphy. Tony Keady has come up to take the 65. Remember, there are 4 points between the teams, 50 minutes to go. Will he go for a point? Will he drop it in the square? Well, he's gone for nothing because it's gone away to the left and wide. Just about the only mistake he's made so far.
Ger, it's interesting that Brendan Linsky, since he got the wallop in the head, isn't the same force that he was, and the Galway forwards don't seem to be moving too well at the moment.
So a game of varying fortunes. That second half goal really was a boost and a tonic for Cork. And what about this for a good determined run from the centre half back, Tony Keady, looking so fit. If anything, Galway have a real edge in fitness, I think. Here's Johnny Crowley. Peter Finnerty's under it, so too Tomás Mulcahy takes it again. Another bit of inspiration from Mulcahy, the Glen man, to the man from the Piercing, Tony O'Sullivan. But it's angled away and it's wide. What a good catch that was by Tomás Mulcahy. Cork have had a real problem at centre forward since Tim Crowley decided to opt out of senior inter-county hurling. Dennis Walsh under it. Here's Tom Cashman, the Cork captain, wondering whether he will be the one to take the cup back to Leeside, or will it be going west of the Shannon? Many unanswered questions as Teddy McCarthy drives the pass in, overhits it. There are 13 minutes left in this year's All-Ireland hurling final. A real tense affair, as you can see from the faces. Noel Lane trying to get the kind of supply from midfield that he likes. Towards PJ Malloy, he got a lovely goal like this the last year. He gets a point this time, making a valuable contribution since coming on at half-time. PJ Malloy then, with that point, means there's just a goal between them, and a nice pass delivered from Noel Lane. Ger Cunningham 3-9 to 15 points the score, 18 points to 15. Good shoulder. Tony Keady. Galway have got 4 great goals against Kilkenny in the semi-final. What they'd give for just one of those now. Conor Hayes. Dennis Walsh gets there first. Can't hold on to it. Here's Jim Cashman. Some nice stick work by the Cork men. Conor Hayes out first, but the break of the ball down to Tony O'Sullivan, looking for the point. He's coming good, you know. Great point. In the last few minutes, these Cork fans really enjoying this match. Things beginning to go Cork's way just at the moment, Eamon.
Yes, indeed, they're picking up their scores well and they're opening up the Galway defence, and they're playing tremendous stuff in defence for themselves. Like Tom Cashman there is getting great confidence in his striking.
Jerry McInerney holds too long. Ger Fitzgerald, who's chasing after everything, but this time it's Martin Naughton who does well. And the referee gives the free the other way against Martin Naughton. A good decision.
A good decision by Bailey, but this is the difference between the two teams. Galway, when they get the ball, have to run with it, whereas Cork, when they get the ball, they let the ball do the work. And Cork are not allowing the Galway fellas come at them or go past them.
So the position, just 11 minutes to go to the end. Pat Hartnett towards Jimmy Barry. It angles away wide, and so the score remains Cork 3-10, Galway 15 points, 19 to 15. Jimmy seemed to have picked up an injury that time, a hand injury. It's not enough, I'm sure, to force him from the action. Richard Brown under it, can't control it, however. Dennis Mulcahy clears it away for Cork. Mulcahy breaks his stick. Jim Cashman towards Kieran Kingston, favouring Kevin Hennessy. Is there a goal on here? Yes! Oh, what a great goal! That's one of the goals of the year. Minutes of the second half gone. With a determined run, a look to the corner, and Kevin Hennessy scores his second goal, Cork's fourth. A delightful bit of finishing by the Middleton man. Now, is it out of Galway's reach? There's still 10 minutes left. They've 7 points to make up. They badly need a goal. The free is going to be taken about 50 metres out by Peter Murphy, getting some instructions from Cyril Farrell. Now, will he drop it in the square? Yes. They go up for it. Still lying loose, and it's Dennis Walsh for Cork who gets it out to Kevin Hennessy. Towards Tony O'Sullivan. Cork with some very slick forwards. That's wide. Just centimetres wide at that right-hand post. But Cork now showing great cohesion, great determination, overcoming their injury problems, Eamon.
Yes, indeed, they are. And they're even playing the ball to the wings, which was Galway's strongest part of their game. Kevin Hennessy is really coming into his own in this game.
So Joe Cooney, the man down there in the green helmet, can he inspire them? Michael Connolly, we haven't seen too much of him since he came on. To Tony Kilkenny, great stop! It's still lying there, however. It could go just about anywhere. It's a goal! It's a Galway goal, but the referee says no. The referee says, wait a minute. The umpire had signalled with the green flag that it was a goal. The referee's placing the ball on the 20-metre line. And it's a free in instead. This is it again in slow motion. Saved brilliantly by Ger Cunningham. It could just about have gone anywhere. Michael Connolly just inches away from the line. And eventually it did go in. But the referee says, hold it up. And it's John Cummins, the goalkeeper, who's coming up to take it. The other goalkeeper, Peter Murphy, thought that he might be the one. That's last year's goalkeeper. 7 points between the teams. That's the position. We have 7.5 minutes left. Kevin Hennessy being told away. 20 metres away is where he should be at this stage. John Commons, the goalkeeper, who's taking the 20-metre free. There are 6 players lining up on the goal line. Are there too many? We'll see. It's a goal! John Commons with a great goal for Galway from the 20-metre line. And how about that for a race back? He still hasn't made it. But it's PJ Malloy who cleared it back up the other side. Richard Brown gets it out. We have 4 points between the teams, and as we said earlier, 4 points is nothing in a hurling match. So wherever you're watching this game, we hope you're enjoying it. It's certainly turning out to be a marvellous contest. Ollie Kilkenny, stopped by Kieran Kingston. Cork still the leaders. Stopped by Conor Hayes this time. Jerry McInerney and Ger Fitzgerald. Here's Tony O'Sullivan. The angle is awkward. Nicely taken up by Ollie Kilkenny. Now, will that goal give Galway renewed heart? It's a goal they so badly needed. That's Tom Cashman floating in the effort, and he's got a point! I suppose what Tony Keady, Galway centre-half back, can do, Tom Cashman says, I can do likewise. 5 points between them again. Peter Finnerty to the unmarked Peter Murphy. 5 points between the sides. 6 minutes left. Cork are the leaders. Cork going for their 26th All-Ireland. Galway hoping that they won't be on the losing side for the 2nd year in succession. That's Dennis Walsh, a member of Cork's under-21 teams as well, hurler and footballer, and really it's a baptism of fire for him in the heat of the All-Ireland final battle. And the crowd in the stands living on the edges of their seats just now. Here's Peter Finnerty. That's the angle. Towards Michael Connolly, can't hold on to it. 5 minutes left, Damon. Where would your money be going?
It's at the moment, my money would be on Cork because they seem to be playing better hurling. That was just Galway came close with that 21-yard free, but Cork are playing the better hurling at the moment.
Just look at those faces. Nice lob on by Tomas Mulcahy. John Commons very firmly back in his goal, but it went off his stick. One of the few errors he's made. 65 then for Cork. So just coming up to 4 minutes of the game remaining. Tom Cashman will be in absolutely no hurry whatsoever. If he can score from the 65, there will be then 6 points in it, but he's put it wide. It's very warm down there, I can tell you. The sun has gone in just a little. With a very pleasant September afternoon. Pat Hartnett really overcoming the psychological effects of that shoulder injury, but leaving it behind to Peter Murphy. Galway need another goal at this stage. Stopped by Johnny Crowley. Hooped away to Kevin Hennessy, their goal hero. Driving it down towards Jimmy Barry or Kieran Kingston. Comes out. Conor Hayes. Tony O'Sullivan. A very nippy performer to Kieran Kingston in space, driving it over the bar. An unerring finish from the man from Crackton. Great pass that was by Tony O'Sullivan. At this stage, it certainly does look to be Cork's day. So those Galway supporters there haven't given up hope yet. Joe Cooney, so much was expected of him, and in those kind of conditions, well, it's always very difficult to deliver. No lane. Towards Linsky. Batted away magnificently by Kevin Hennessy. Out towards Ger Fitzgerald, his clubmate, his teammate with the Cork team. Here's Jerry McInerney. He's put it wide. Once or twice he's had the chance of getting scores in runs up from the left half back position. but no luck with the finishing. And Ger Cunningham taking all the time in the world. Jimmy Brohan, one of the Cork mentors, just behind the goal with the word of advice. Another long puck from Ger Cunningham off Tony Keady's stick. That's a Cork ball. And Tony Keady has really battled his heart out. What an awful pity that a player should score 5 points, play a magnificent match, and it seems still finish on the losing team. But this seems to be Johnny Clifford's day. The Cork coach, a real gentleman of the game, like Cyril Farrell of Galway. And those Cork supporters are loving, savouring every minute of this. Off the stick of Conor Hayes it goes. Here's Jimmy Barry Murphy. Awkward angle, oh there's no. It seemed to have gone over. Well, at this stage it's all pretty academic, I'm afraid, from a Galway point of view. Just a minute and a half remaining. No lane towards Peter Murphy. Inside him is Michael Connolly if he delivers the pass in quickly. Michael Connolly is now picked up, however. Tom Cashman under it. There's Michael Connolly with no lane. Galway looking for a second goal. Maybe they'll get it. Great stop! It's there from PJ Malloy. Is it enough? There's only a minute left. PJ Malloy scores it after Ger Cunningham had saved a shot from Tony Kilkenny at point-blank range, and Malloy was on hand to finish it into the corner. 3 minutes are left in the game. 24 to 21. A game of 6 goals. One of the more memorable recent All-Ireland hurling finals. Good shoulder by Jerry McInerney for Galway. So Galway, can they get another goal? It's not over by any means. Joe Cooney, 20 seconds left. There'll be little injury time to add on. Dennis Walsh, Cork will want to keep possession or go for points. Jimmy Barry, can he finish with a flourish? Yes! He punches the air with delight, puts 4 points between the teams, and that's probably breathing space. It's not over yet. The referee watches no lane going through, but he's whistled up, and there's a player lying down injured about 30 metres out from the Galway goal. We're now into injury time, and it'll be all at the discretion of the referee. So Cork's left half back, Dennis Walsh, receives the attention. Noel Collins in the background there. Ollie O'Keefe, one of the selectors, attending to Dennis Walsh. So now, play will continue with the puck out, and there it is! Cork have won the All-Ireland! Champions for the 26th time. Another day of disappointment for Galway, but unrestrained joy on the terraces of Hill 16 as these Cork supporters celebrate. A Cork team that finished winners by 4 goals and 13 points to Galway's 2 goals and 15. And so, despite being underdogs and in spite of a dreadful injury list, Cork confound the critics, and their victory in the end was a victory of bravery. It's Cork's 26th title. Galway lose yet again, their second successive final defeat, the county's 5th in 6 finals since 1975. Cork's fierce determination to win, allied by their speed in the second half, their determination and the finishing in particular of Kevin Hennessy, made it a deadly combination that Galway simply could not answer. Pat Hartnett there, who was troubled by injury going into the match, but he came through it strongly. Tom Cashman becomes the first Black Rock man since Ray Cummins in 1976 to lead his team to victory. Tomas Mulcahy, who went out of it for a while in the first half, thanks mainly to the brilliance of Tony Keady, but he came good in the second. And so the players are swallowed up by delighted supporters. I think most of the fans coming to this match today, in their heart of hearts, believe that there was sufficient talent in this Cork team to win. Look at that for a scene. It's a day for the red and the white of Cork. The cup is going back to Leeside. So Tomás Mulcahy then, one of the younger players on the Cork team. He's only 23 years of age. He was an all-star the year before last, when Cork last won the All-Ireland in 1984. And with Donal O'Grady there, one of the 5 Cork selectors, sharing a moment of celebration and a moment of victory. And in there in the middle, high on the shoulders of the fans, Teddy McCarthy and Dennis Walsh. The scars of battle there on Teddy McCarthy's face, just over the left eye. The selectors took a gamble on him, remember, because thanks to all the injuries, or as a result of all the injuries, essentially he found his place on the team. He's a player who went away for 2 weeks holidays before the conclusion of the training, but he's come good on the big day, and as the fans say, it's here we go, here we go. John Fenton down there as well, must be so disappointed to have had to go off injured. Kevin Hennessy, well, if there were going to be a mayoral election in Middleton, I'm sure he'd win it on the first count. Some of the subs then in there celebrating as well. There's Richard Brown. There was so much speculation beforehand that fullback was a real weakness of this Cork team. Richard Brown did well, so too did Johnny Crowley. Heading now towards the conclusion of a great career. Today he won his 5th All-Ireland medal. He's 30 years of age, and I'm sure he'll be back again next year. He's that kind of fellow. But amid all these scenes of triumph for Cork, you have to just consider for a moment the bitterness of defeat for Galway yet again. So often they've done so well at the penultimate stage, and then when it came to the final, they just failed to deliver the goods. The day belongs to Tom Cashman. For the 26th time, the cup goes back to Cork. The Liam McCarthy Cup, the big prize, first presented to Limerick as winners of the 1921 All-Ireland. That final played in May of 1923. But today, the president of the GAA, Mick Loftus, will present it to Tom Cashman.
I have just 4 comments to make. To our overseas viewers, greetings from Croke Park. Today we join in congratulations and appreciation to a band that over the past 100 years has brought us music on all those great occasions. The Artane Boys Band. A big hand for the band, please. To the referee and his officials, a sincere thanks for a job well done. We generally commiserate with the losers, but I think today we have to pay tribute to a team, the losers, who gave us such great competition, the Galway team.
So a wonderful triumph for the Cork players as they wait to receive the cup.
Curtin Lee McCarthy, the Gullar Asherish, Cush Lee. Gorgeous Corky, Agus Anish, Shema Privilege, and Curtin Bruno, and Captain Thomas Keeson.
It's a great honour for me to captain this great Cork team. I'd like to thank the 5 selectors: Johnny Clifford, Jimmy Brown, Ali O'Keefe, Pat MacDonald and Donald O'Grady. I'd like to thank Johnny Clifford, our coach. Johnny, you said we do it, boy, we did it. Noel Collins, our trainer. To Dr. Con Murphy and John Kidd Cronin. I'd like to thank the county board for everything they did to us, for the past 12 months. And finally, but not least, one word for the Lord Mayor of Galway. Have a look at that. Three cheers for Galway. Hep hep. Hep hep. Hep hep.
And so then, as Tomás Mulcahy takes away the McCarthy Cup down, as the president said, down to the Lee again. A proud moment indeed for Tomás, a proud moment for Black Rockies Club, a proud moment for Cork. They came here today, a lot of us didn't expect Cork to go away with the All-Ireland title, but they have done so. They have done so magnificently, a brilliant performance, a magnificent performance by a team with so much to overcome. Not great form in the championship up to today's match, went into today's game with all kinds of injury problems, but they certainly put that behind them on the day with a brilliant display of hurling that left Galway looking for the kind of form that had taken them through against Kilkenny, but just couldn't find today. We will be getting the opinions of our panel, Joe McDonough, and also from Con Roach, who's here with me in the commentary box in a few moments. We'll also be talking to some of the players. You just see people from Cork, people from Galway discussing how it was won and how it was lost. Well, I'm afraid one collection of people who perhaps know how it was lost are talking to Jim Carney now. These are some people from the Galway side of the camp who will be looking back on the match right now with us.
Where do you think it went wrong?
I don't know, Jim, to be honest with you, because Cork played good hurling.
I think you never led at any stage of the match.
We didn't, but I thought at half-time we were in a chance because we came back well, you know.
Were you feeling good at half-time?
Oh, we were feeling pretty confident at half-time, but...
It just didn't come right to you in the second half.
Cork played good hurling.
Yes, fine. Is your injury all right now?
Hopefully.
Fine. Well played in here, Brendan. Played your heart out. Well, Tony, a desperate disappointment to lose. Where do you think it went wrong? You had played well all throughout, just couldn't get ahead.
The forwards hitting, kicking.
Yes, you were hitting great points yourselves. Must have been heartbreaking then to see it just not coming right.
Oh, definitely. I thought we might clinch it there and in, but there's nothing coming.
Were you feeling good at half-time?
Oh, yeah, feeling confident all right.
And was it just a case in the second half then that A were inching their way forward all the time?
Definitely.
Yeah, it must have been heartbreaking to see that goal go in.
No, terrible.
Yeah, but you didn't lose heart really. You fought to the finish.
Keep fighting, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, after beating Kilkenny now, is it a terrible down for you?
Not really, but we thought, after beating Kilkenny, that there was more in it, but if our forwards taking the scores, it might have been a different day.
You yourself had a marvellous game, Tony. No doubt you'll be hoping to come back here again and win in All-Ireland.
Without doubt.
Good. Thanks for taking the trouble to talk to us. Hard luck and well played.
Yes, Jim Carney there with some very disappointed people with him, quite naturally a shattering experience for Galway. However, we're going to take a happier scene now, I can tell you, because we're going to join the winning camp to the Cork dressing room where Jar Canning is talking to some of the players and officials associated with the Cork team.
For Galway, as you say, Michael, but very much celebrations for Cork, their 26th victory. And one of the men who made it all possible, of course, was John Clifford. What a terrific success, John. You must be very pleased.
Marvellous, Ger. You can see it here. I think it's fair to say, Ger, I told everybody during the week we would win, and that wasn't overconfidence. I had complete faith in them. When you have 15 good hurlers and substitutes, you're going to win, Ger. Marvellous, thrilled with myself.
You were helped, of course, by some terrific goals.
Terrific goals, Ger. I think this is the difference, Ger, between Cork, maybe Galway's goals against Kilkenny, hand-pass goals. You can stop those. You can't stop our type of goal today.
We felt maybe you were taking a bit of a gamble leaving John Fenton on as long as you did.
It was a very serious position, but when we looked at it at half-time, Ger, he had scored 1-4. We debated it a lot. We said we'd give him a few minutes. As you saw, we brought him off. Then we got a penalty. Normally,
then
John
you needed him.
Yeah. Normally, John does his own thing. We give him a free rein. We had to put it over the bar. But everything worked out great for us.
Let's have a look at something here. We've got a little piece of action. If we just look, with my apologies. I want to say at this stage to our viewers in Britain, I hope you've enjoyed the game on Channel 4. Look forward to seeing you again, maybe for the football final in 2 weeks' time. Until then, from all of us in Croke Park, where Cork won the All-Ireland, bye-bye to you. We're going to turn now and talk to John Fenton. John, you must be disappointed at having to leave the game, but I'm sure elated that Cork won.
Oh yes, sure. The way my legs were, there was no point in continuing at that time. So I was disgusted to be leaving the field, but it was great to see the lads, and it was a great victory for us.
Was it the same injury you had going into the match?
Yeah, well, I got another crack on the other ankle just before half-time, and that's the one that did the damage. I just couldn't walk on either leg then after that. But, well, I kept going as long as I could, but it couldn't last, you know.
Now, I want to talk to you in particular about 2 penalties. One you scored and one you weren't there for. Well, the one wasn't a penalty, it was a 20-metre free. Did you really mean to go for a goal?
Well, I felt at that stage it was worth a try. They were probably expecting a point, and if we got the goal, I thought it would have given us a good advantage. Luckily enough, it went in. If I missed it, we could have been in a spot of bother.
What were you thinking when the penalty came late in the game for Cork and you weren't there?
Well, I don't know. We got a point out of it. If I was on, I'd probably have got a point as well. So, like, it made no difference at that time. Like.
John Fenton, congratulations. Well done. We'll turn across here and talk to the Cork captain, of course, is Tom Cashman. Tom, how do you feel right now?
I don't really know, Jar. It didn't sink in yet. I think being underdogs, we'd nothing prepared or anything afterwards, but it makes it all the more sweeter.
Now, for about 20 minutes in the first half, you were under real pressure. You had taken a good lead, but Galway were coming back at you very strongly. Did you think that the signs were ominous at that stage?
Not really. I think the majority of the scores came from fights and frees, Jar, you know. And we said at half-time that if we got cut out fouling them, we'd win the match. And I think in the second half, they only got 1 point from a free.
What about your fellow defenders? They were magnificent, I felt.
We were getting a bit of a lashing all year from the press, the back line. Even though we're missing John Hodgins and Dermot McCurtain, they should not be forgotten today. But the rest of the 6 backs, I think, went out. They stuck to their men. And we didn't care what Galway threw at us today. We were ready for them.
Was there such a thing as the turning point of the game as you saw it?
I think Tomas Mulcahy's goal, it took a lot of pressure off us. And as well as that, I think when they got the goal, they came back to 3 points. Dennis Walsh won a great ball. And he ran about 30 yards. And he hand passed to Jimmy Barry, who put the ball over the bar. I think after that point, I think the man who scored, like Jimmy, the game was as good as over.
Of course, one of the sweetest aspects of this victory is the fact that so few people, so few experts expected you to win.
I'm glad you said that, Jar. I think, as we said before the game, we were confident all along ourselves. And, you know, Cork and All-Ireland final are a different kettle of fish.
Tom Cashman, enjoy your triumph. We'll leave you get away. Let's speak now to Frank Burke here. Frank from